residents of Meepletown. Today we're going to be doing a comparison video of Dinosaur Island and Duelosaur Island, both games by Pandasaurus Games where you are building up your dinosaur theme park a la Jurassic Park, except Dinosaur Island is for 2 to 4 player games and Duelosaur Island is, as you can imagine, for 2 players only. John, what do you think?
All right, so I was really excited about playing Dinosaur Island. Saw the Kickstarter, got pretty jacked up about it. Duelosaur Island was a game that I wasn't as excited about, to be quite frank, but I'm going to tell you that I was very surprised by how good Duelosaur Island is. Now, the art and the components, honestly, are pretty much identical in these 2 games. So even though this game is cheaper because it's a 2-player game, they did very great production work on the art and the components. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. You know, I mean, there's just a lot less than the Duelosaur Island box, but it's a 2-player game, as you can imagine. You don't need as much in here, but production value, you're exactly right. They're both great.
Yeah, they're great. Now gameplay.
Yeah.
Why don't you lead us off, sir?
Gameplay is actually pretty similar, and you know the movement of the game for both of them is pretty similar. With Dinosaur Island, there's just a lot more going on. There's more of you building up your player board. The way you build up your park is it's got more heft to it, I guess, than Duelosaur Island. Duelosaur Island is more about the card play of the game.
You just made me think about trash bags. Hefty. Let's get the train back on, the dinosaur train back on the track there. Yeah, much heftier decisions to be made here. I have had a lot of people, though, like this better because they feel like it's a little bit more streamlined.
Sure.
But I did like, there's several phases that really have a little bit, for me personally, more interesting decisions that are being made here. Trying to determine what upgrades you want to take versus a scientist versus purchasing DNA. So that's pretty cool. And also with this game, there's a cold storage limit. So on Duelosaur, you're just being able to create as much DNA as you want, and there's no limit. Here, you have to actually increase your storage, which then adds just another element to the game that I really did like about this, that you have to think about while you're playing it.
It can also be pretty frustrating, you know, because you are limited on the amount of DNA that you can take, and so you might be ready to really take in a large haul of basic DNA, but you just can't put it into your player board because you don't have enough space, and that can be kind of frustrating as opposed to Duelosaur Island that you can take as much as you want. But,
yeah, for sure. And I did like the multi-purpose cards in Duelosaur. Yeah. I know you did. You liked that a lot too.
I did. Yeah, I think that's a pretty interesting decision. Now, I'll say that the way that you place dinosaurs in your park with the actual little, you know, plastic dinosaur meeples is a lot more satisfying than putting a card under your board. It feels, this Dinosaur Island feels more like you're actually building up this park with dinosaurs.
1000%. Yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly. But Duelosaur Island, there are some things that I like about it better.
Sure.
I like, at the beginning, the first phase, you're rolling dice, and then you are choosing what order to put the dice because there's what they call plot twists, which basically give you bonuses. So I may roll dice, and for example, advanced DNA is pretty important in this game, I believe. I may not want Dean to get that advanced DNA die, so I'm going to maybe put it on the slot where you don't get any bonuses, and then maybe try to entice him with some basic DNA that will give him 2 coins to go along with it, or 2 times as much of that. So that's really out of both these games, that's one of my favorite parts, is that first phase of Duelosaur Island, because I'm also thinking several steps ahead. If Dean takes this die, then I'll take this one. Then he takes that one, then I'll take this one. So a lot of interesting parts. So I like that, and I love the multi-purpose cards. That's my 2 favorite highlights for Duelosaur.
Yeah, and I would probably agree with that. I think that is very rewarding. Now, it doesn't mean that the way that you draft the dice in Dinosaur Island isn't cool, because it is. It's cool. You know, the thing I like about it is that when you place the scientist, you're going to gain the amount of DNA multiplied times whatever your scientist is. So a level 3 scientist placed with a 2 DNA die is going to give you 6 of that particular DNA if you can hold it.
If you can hold it, and that's another piece to that is that in that exact same turn, you're deciding whether to increase your cold storage with that 3 to have 3 checks up on your cold storage.
Yeah, and now if you want to, you can hold scientists back for workers later on in the worker placement phase, which is pretty cool because you're going to want to have, especially towards, as you can see the game's getting towards the end, you're really going to need a lot of workers to be able to build up your park because that becomes the most important thing at that point.
It does, and I really am a sucker for a good worker placement game. This isn't a worker placement game, but it has a worker placement element for sure. So that was one of my favorite phases for Dinosaur Island.
Yeah, what I want to talk about is the way you build up your park. So in Dinosaur Island, what you're going to do is go through this phase, and you can watch our review of Dinosaur Island to see this more in depth. But you're
click
going
on the
to
link.
You're going to be building up different pieces of your player board. So you're going to pay for upgrades to your player board that will allow you to have better worker placement, tiles onto your board. You're also going to be purchasing these attraction tiles that are going to go onto your board and purchasing specialists. I think that phase of the game is a lot more rewarding than that phase is in Duelosaur Island, where you're, again, it's fun, but in Duelosaur Island, you're really just taking cards, paying the DNA cost to put the dinosaur at the top of the board, or paying the monetary cost to place the attraction at the bottom of the board. Now, those decisions are interesting. I just don't think they're as interesting or as meaty as Dinosaur Island choices are.
That's a great phrase that you use for a dinosaur themed game.
Meaty.
So let me ask you this question, just kind of get right down to it. If you were to choose to own, I know you own both of them, and I would assume that you would say you should have both. Let's start there. Yes?
You get whatever you want. I'm going to say, for me,
you gotta do what we say.
For me, I want both. I really enjoy both games. Dinosaur Island, I think, has more variability. It's weightier. It's one that I'm not going to get to the table as often as Duelosaur, that I'll play with my wife, because it plays quicker, it's easier to set up, and it's still a lot of fun. It's like a mini. It's a mini version of Dinosaur Island.
Mini version.
When you don't want that bulkier game. Now there is a little more randomness in Dinosaur Island. So with the drawing of the meeples during the patron phase, during the visitor phase, you could really get hosed in this by drawing hooligans that really mess you up. And so if you really, really don't like that type of randomness, you might not like Dinosaur Island, or at least that phase of Dinosaur Island. Duelosaur Island might be more for you. But for me, if you had to pick,
I'm making you right now on the YouTubes in front of billions of people.
All right, I will choose Dinosaur because you can play with more players, there's more variability, and there's more meat on the bone.
Cool. I will make myself answer the same question. I won't make you have to and then not answer it myself. This was actually difficult for me because if someone were to say, John, what game would you rather play?
John, what game would you rather play?
That was perfect. I just teased you up for that one.
Knocked it out of the park.
Oh, I tried to do that knocking noise. It wasn't very good. I would say Dinosaur Island because there's more complexity to it. Really, really cool and interesting decisions. I would say I'd rather play Dinosaur Island. However, because there aren't as many good, solid two-player games that are specifically designed for two-player. Now, there's a lot out there, but there's definitely more that are not. Sure. So I think that this makes it, I don't know if the word unique is the right word, but it's a little more unique for my collection. For in my collection, I would actually say I would rather play this, but I'd rather purchase this because I know I would play it a whole lot more. And I love adding good, solid two-player games to my collection. So hopefully that didn't confuse you at all. And this is probably about half the price as well. So that's, hey, saving that money, I'm down with that too.
Yeah, but I think for both of us, we really, really enjoy both of these games. Yeah. Watch our reviews on these to see what our final ratings are, but we both enjoy these games a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And like they said, we just click on the links. We've done total reviews of these. We rate them 1 to 10 like a board game geek, so you can really see kind of where we lie there. Also, please subscribe to our channel so we can keep making these amazing high-quality videos. A little sarcasm there, but no, we would just please subscribe. We would love for you to do that if I could talk. And we have a podcast that's great and amazing and just I don't know.
And we talk more in depth on our podcast about Duelosaur Island on
We
episode
sure
4.
do.
So check that out. Give us a great review and subscribe to us on there as well.
Just search Meepletown.
Well, thanks for coming down to Meepletown.
Thanks for joining us, and be sure to follow us on Twitter at Meepletown Games, and connect with us on the Meepletown Guild, guild number 3407, at BoardGameGeek.com, and also subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel. And until next time, thanks for coming down to Meepletown.